Hello everyone, Creeper Craft Guy here. Today I'm going to be doing another quick Pokemon vlogging thing, I guess. I just got out of the shower, and I've had a pretty rough day today, so I thought I'd try and cheer myself up by doing a bit of a fun video. Talking about what my favourite Pokemon of each type is. Now, I got this idea from, I forgot who originally did this video, but, I think it was M&J TV Pokevids. But I got this idea from whoever originally made this. I think it was Michael. And, Fly. Fly just photobombed. I'm gonna leave that in. But today I'm gonna be doing, telling you what my favorite Pokemon from each type is and why. And I'm gonna do it alphabetically, so... starting with Bug. Now, Bug types are not all that impressive lately, but I have but there are some Bug types that I do really enjoy using. For example, Shedinja and Ninjask, and Beedrill, I guess, but my favourite Bug type is actually Butterfree. And the only reason for this is the fact that I have used Butterfree in more playthroughs of a game than I have any other Pokemon, than any other Bug type. I used it in X and Y, I used it in Red and Blue, and Yellow. I used it in... where else did I use it? I used it in, I think I used it for a bit in Sun and Moon as well. I wouldn't know. But I've got a Caterpie on my Pokemon X Wonder Rush series now, so hopefully we should have a Butterfree on the team sometime soon. So moving on, now we're on to the next one, which is my favourite Dark type, and this one's going to come in a bit obvious. My favourite Dark type is Umbreon. Now, Umbreon is just that awesome evolution, and before Sylveon came, it was my favourite, aside from Jolteon, but... Umbreon is just so cool looking. It's really sleek, it's a shady fox. I love the fact that it's associated with the moonlight. And, yeah, Umbreon. My favourite dragon type is Dragonite. And, originally it was Flygon, but Dragonite took over because it's got such a diverse move pool and it's tanky as hell. It's so hard to level though, and that's the one thing that makes it lose points with me. But other than that, Dragonite is just so useful. It's not even funny. Now, the next one should come as no surprise if you've been on my channel for a bit now. My favourite electric type is Emolga, because for one reason is the fact that Emolga is super useful in sky battles, and it also resists the one thing that you'd expect it to be weak against, which is ground. There are other Pokemon with abilities like Levitate, such as Vikavolt and, who else is there? Vikavolt and Electros, and there's also Thundurus and Zapdos, who are also electric and flying types. But Emolga is by far the easiest of those to obtain, considering Electros, like, Tynamo is really hard to level, Vikavolt cannot be gotten until the end of the game, or at least at the end of Sun and Moon, and Thundurus and Zapdos are legendary, so Emolga is just the easiest choice for me. I am, however, considering changing my favourite electric type from Emolga to Ampharos, so we'll have to see what happens. And again, another thing that should come as no surprise, my favourite fairy type is Sylveon, just because it is so bulky, which proves that you should never ever judge a book by its cover, because Sylveon looks so sweet and innocent and a bit of a victim, I guess. It's a bit frail looking, but it's actually super tanky. It's one of the most tanky Eevee evolutions in the game. My favourite fighting type, and this one's a bit of a common choice, my favourite fighting type is actually Lucario. And it was the very first Pokemon I ever had a Mega Evolution of, like most people if you've played Pokemon X and Y. And it's remained one of my favourites. It's got awesome moves, like Aura Sphere particularly, Dragon Pulse, Bone Rush, Extreme Speed, Flash Cannon, Close Combat. It's so diverse. And that is why Lucario gets my favourite fighting type. So my favourite fire type, it should come as no surprise, is Mega Charizard. Oh, not Mega Charizard, just Charizard in general. It's just, when it comes to fire-type starters and fire-types in general, Charizard is definitely the most useful for me. It's been a popular Pokemon ever since the beginning of the series, and it's honestly not hard to see why. It's just such an awesome Pokemon. And while I do find it a bit unfair that Charizard got 2 Mega Evolutions, while Venusaur and Blastoise only got 1, I hold out 2 fingers, but that's only because 1 for each of them. I still think it's a good Pokemon. My favourite flying type is Talonflame, and for one specific reason, or maybe two specific reasons. I love its design and its concept, and 2, it is really, really useful, particularly with hatching eggs. Its fire typing is what makes it a problem, is the fact that originally I did have a Talonflame on my team, but I replaced it with Dragonite because I had 2 Pokemon which were both fire and flying types. And in all honesty, the only good fire type move that Talonflame can learn via level up is Flame Charge, which isn't very useful unless you want to increase your speed. I managed to get through multiple playthroughs of Pokemon X and Y with Talonflame though, and that is why it is my favourite flying type. And now we're moving on to the most recent Pokemon with my favourite Ghost type and my favourite Grass type. So my favourite Ghost type is actually Mimikyu. And it's not hard to see why. Mimikyu is such a cool Pokemon. Chespin Jr. 98 will not agree with me, but Mimikyu is so good in battle, it's unbelievable. It's supposed to want to be as popular as Pikachu, so it dresses up as Pikachu to hide its hideous form underneath the rag. But it beats Pikachu by a mile. Like, Pikachu cannot hold a candle to this Pokemon. It's just so useful, and its ability is epic. Disguise, bam. I can't click my fingers, but bam, instant substitute. Favorite Grass type is Decidueye, and Decidueye is my main Z-move user. While not being obviously the fastest Pokemon on the planet, that doesn't deny I like it a lot. It's just so good. My one apparently has this following moveset. It's got Leaf Blade for stab, Spirit Shackle to help with the Z move, Synthesis to heal it, which is come in handy, and Brave Bird for type coverage, I guess. But it's that kind of awesome Pokemon that everyone loves. My favourite ground type is actually Gastrodon, which is a bit weird because the only ground type move Gastrodon can learn via level up is Mud Bomb, and sorry, there's a fly here. And the best attack it can get is Earthquake, which during my Diamond and Pearl Let's Play, I taught to my Garchomp. So my Gastrodon never knew Earthquake, and yeah, but Gastrodon is still my favourite ground type because I've bonded with it quite a bit. Now, this is the one that comes to a bit of a difficult one, because Ice is actually my least favourite Pokemon type, and honestly, I actually hate Ice types all round. The only ones I really like are Abomasnow and Articuno, which are both pretty good Ice types. My favourite Ice type is actually Crabominable, because I used it in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and it's honestly a really good Pokemon. Similar to Vikavolt, I did have to wait a very long time to evolve it from Crabrawler, but the good thing about that was that I actually liked Crabrawler as well, as a fighting type. And by the time it got to Crabominable, it was a really good Pokemon. It immediately learned Ice Hammer or Ice Punch the moment it leveled up, and that gave me super good coverage against Kahili and her flying types. So it was a very, very good time, and a good specific time in the series for Crabrawler to evolve. My favourite normal type is Snorlax, and Snorlax has been my favourite normal type for generations now, because it's just so bulky. Just like how Sylveon is, Snorlax is an absolute death machine. Or should I say an actual tank. I also had it during Sun and Moon. My nan got Sun and Moon for me, and she pre-ordered the game, and when she did pre-order the game, it came with the special event Munchlax, which soon evolved into Snorlax, soon learned Giga Impact, and then could learn its Pulverizing Pancake Z move. And it's not just because of that I like Snorlax. Snorlax is just all around an epic Pokemon, and I love it. Another reason to why Gastrodon was my favourite ground type is because it was in my Diamond and Pearl team. Another Pokemon that gets on this list is for being in my Diamond and Pearl team and having so many uses as well. My favourite poison type is Drapion. And one of the main reasons I love Drapion is kind of the same reason to why my friend Callum loves Alolan Muck. And that is because it only has one weakness, being ground type. Because naturally its poison type would be weak to psychic, except it's part dark type, so psychic type attacks don't do anything. And naturally its dark type would be weak to fighting type, except its poison type resists that. Moving on to psychic type, and this is actually the only legendary on this list. For some reason I don't tend to use legendaries, but this one is the only legendary on this list. Not my least favourite, what am I on about? My favourite psychic type is actually Mewtwo. Now, Mewtwo is just so good. Also, another thing is the fact that it also got 2 Mega Evolutions. And what's really weird is that a lot of people seem to prefer Mewtwo X, not X, they seem to prefer Mewtwo Y, but I prefer Mewtwo X, just because it's just more my thing. But Mewtwo has, for generations, been one of the strongest Pokemon in existence. It was the strongest Pokemon in Generation 1, aside from Mew, which was a special event. And it's remained one of the strongest legendary Pokemons today. On every top 10 legendary Pokemon list I've seen, Mewtwo has at least gotten between 1 and 5. But moving on, we have 3 types left to go. My favourite rock type is Lycanroc, specifically the Midnight version. The edginess really helps with Midnight Lycanroc, and while I did enjoy Midday because I thought it made more sense, after using Midnight Lycanroc quite a bit, I did end up loving that one even more. It's got some such good moves, and yeah. Also, another thing with Gastrodon and Drapion being experiences from my Sinnoh team, which were why they make this list. One member from my Unova team, my Black and White 2 Unova team, Magnezone, is my favourite Steel type. I was originally going to put Bronzong, but I ended up choosing Magnezone because Magnezone just had more uses for me during its time in the playthrough. It can't earn as many coverage attacks as Bronzong, but that's still something from loving it. It was just more tanky, and also it was it just had more use in that certain generation. Anyway. And finally, last but certainly not the least, my favourite water type and my favourite Pokemon in general is Greninja. And another Pokemon that I almost always choose for Pokemon X and Y, unless it's a special occasion. And another team member I actually had on the Sun and Moon team, aside from the fact that I only received it after I completed the second island. But the moment I did receive it, bam, wishy-washy in the PC, Ash Greninja, come to me. Now, yeah, that's pretty much it. But actually, no, wait, before I continue, let me just say the last few words about Greninja. It's got some mad coverage, and particularly, not only does it doesn't need to have Battle Bond to be awesome. Even with Tauren, it can be cool, but one of the best abilities you could possibly teach it is Protein, which changes its type, which not only gives you different type effectiveness, but also makes every single one of its attacks stab attacks. So, I'm almost about to run out of time in this video, which is lucky. So I will see you in the next video. I think in next time, I might do my least favourite Pokemon of each type, because I actually do have quite a few. So I will thank you all for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.